Welcome to the elements of digital color photography. No matter what kind of digital camera you use, if you want to capture visually compelling color pictures and produce them accurately, then you've opened the right book. This video book will present an introduction and overview to key photographic issues, and will set the compass heading for the larger video book series called Accurate Color. Photography is more than just cameras, monitors, and printers. These are merely the current tools of the trade. Photography is about capturing moments of life as rendered by light and color. How we capture these moments and the mechanics of the tools we use is of less importance than grasping how the medium of light and color portray our world. Years ago, the journey from camera to capture to color print was very basic and very predictable. You took the pictures and someone else produced the prints. Even most 35mm camera buffs left the color processing up to someone else. Serious photographers use the services of a professional color lab to handle the film processing and color prints. The color lab folks were the magicians and the color specialists. Life in some ways was much simpler then. Color photography was a very sophisticated science that few people really understood, and even fewer wanted to. But times have changed. Today, color photography is a much more personal process. Drugstore film and print processing is a thing of the past. Cameras are much more advanced. Film has been replaced by electronic circuits, and most of us print our color pictures on our own personal color printers. Now we mere mortals have more photographic magic in our hands than even professional photographers of just a generation ago. The digital film in today's cameras consists of a postage stamp-sized piece of electronic circuitry, and all the color processing happens on personal computers. Ironically, in spite of all the advanced hardware and software available today, the responsibility for reproducing color accurately is now on the shoulders of the individual. Whether you use a simple point-and-shoot camera or a sophisticated interchangeable lens DSLR, if you want to produce accurate color, you really need to understand the basics of color science. If the advertising hype and propaganda were actually true, if digital photography were quite as trouble-free as it's being portrayed, there would be far fewer online tutorials, photography seminars, and Photoshop conferences all over the globe. The truth is, color science is not simple. It's quite complicated, and can be quite daunting to those who don't have a good grasp of the basic behavior of color. But here's some good news. The seeming complexity of capturing and reproducing accurate color is actually quite straightforward and understandable when it's broken down to simple basics. And that's what you'll get from this series. Complex color science presented in simple terms and practical illustrations. Technology may well be technical, but if it's presented properly, it can be easily understood. Sir Isaac Newton was a brilliant 17th century scientist at the top of his game when he invented the reflecting telescope, though he was most noted for discovering the law of universal gravity. While Newton was a genius, you don't have to be a genius to understand the law of gravity as it affects everyday life. The oversimplified illustration of an apple falling on Newton's head pretty much illustrates everything you'll need to know about gravity as it affects everyday folks like us. From this simplistic illustration, an incredibly complex scientific principle is easily understood by everybody in the world. I think you'll find that this is also true about the basic issues of color science. My bet is that by the time you finish this series, you'll fully understand the simple basics of color. You'll understand how to capture, control, and communicate using this powerful natural force and your digital camera. Entire sections of bookstores and libraries are dedicated to the pursuit of color science, and thousands of books are written exploring the behavior of color and light. Many of these works are far more technical than this one. I've chosen to produce this Accurate Color series from a more practical standpoint because I want to empower you to consistently produce accurate color both in print and display form. Once you get your head around some of the basic facts concerning light and color, you'll clearly understand how they operate within digital photography. In the subsequent sessions in this series, I'll reveal how these facts always influence the way digital images appear. There are a handful of truths that you must understand about color in order to use it as a predictable and controllable force. And these truths directly relate to the way color behaves in different environments, both in the way it's captured and the way it's displayed on different devices. Once you understand these behavioral traits, you'll be able to utilize them to literally shape the color in your image with great accuracy. Here's the unvarnished truth. In order to print correctly, all digital photographs must go through a handful of initial processing stages. Good image processing is like good food preparation. It involves some careful measuring and attention to detail. Snapshots are a lot like fast food meals. They may satisfy an initial need, but they seldom win any awards. Each photograph is unique and therefore deserves individual attention if you want to achieve the very best results. I'll describe clearly how to adjust each one of your images for optimal presentation. Like other developed skills, preparing images correctly may seem complicated at first, but once you've repeated the process a couple of times, you'll be producing great results with speed and confidence. Think of this as a journey. The first time you make your way to any new destination, the trip seems to take forever. Though the second time you make the same trek, the journey seems shorter. So it is with good image preparation. The to-do list of initial preparation will probably seem laborious, but that's simply because you're addressing issues you may have never addressed before. But once you grasp the process and adapt to the rhythm, your image preparation routine will be quite second nature. Photography should be fun, not complicated or exasperating. If you've been frustrated trying to achieve accurate color results from your camera and your printer, you're certainly not alone. When digital cameras were first introduced into the market, many were returned to the stores because customers couldn't produce pictures with predictable natural color. My promise to you is that from this Accurate Color series, you'll learn how to move your images successfully from your camera to your printer, navigating the sometimes troubled waters along the way, and you'll ultimately print your images with clarity and repeatable results. I invite you to join me for all of the sessions in this Accurate Color series. Each session is designed to give you a better understanding about the process of capturing, shaping, and reproducing color accurately. I think you'll find that your photography skills will ratchet up to a new level with each session. This is Herb Painter. See you next time.